Hello aspirants, welcome back to Ignite IAS channel. Let us discuss the history related questions that were recently asked in the preliminary examination conducted by UPSC on May 28th. We'll have an elaborate discussion today. What is the need to see this session conducted by Ignite IAS Academy? You'll be observing keys that are uploaded by many institutes in India, all across India. But what is the need to follow the key that is prepared by the Ignite IAS Academy? See, through these discussions, you will have a comprehensive understanding. We'll be elaborately discussing each and every question and facts attached to those questions so that they will be helpful. They will be helpful for your upcoming exams also. Too many things you will be learning through this session, so kindly cooperate. And let us go with the discussion. Let us start the discussion. And one more point. Please do subscribe to the channel because you keep watching more and more videos related to Ignite IAS Academy, because it is not only related to my subject but all the subjects that are taught here are taught comprehensively. You'll land up with a very good understanding. Okay, now let us start the discussion related to the history questions asked in UPSC preliminary examination. Yeah, the first question, I hope it is visible. In which one of the following regions was Dhanyakataka, which flourished as a prominent Buddhist center under Mahasangikas located? Here, looking at the options, let us first discuss the answer here, then we'll discuss important facts related to each and every question. Okay, so here the right answer is Andhra. Andhra is the right answer. Dhanyakataka is a place in Andhra Pradesh today. It is identified with present-day Amravati, according to many scholars. And it is also a place where one of the sects of Buddhism was born. It is Vajrayana Buddhism. If you remember these topics, you might have studied Buddhist philosophy and Buddhism. There were different sects related to Buddhism. Different sects have emerged in Buddhism, like Hinayana Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhism. So, in a very later period, after this Buddhist philosophy became very popular in Indian subcontinent, in a very later period, Vajrayana Buddhism has emerged. And most of the scholars believe that this Vajrayana Buddhism was born in Amravati, and these monks used to say that Buddha himself had traveled down to the south and taught him to practice more and more tantric traditions in order to achieve this moksha or salvation, which is one of the core principles of this Vajrayana Buddhism. So it was born in this Amravati, that is one point. And coming to the name Dhanyakataka, what do you mean by Kataka? See, in Satavahana administration, there are two terminologies. One is Kataka and other terminology is Kandavara. One terminology is Kataka, other terminology is Kandavara. What do you mean by Kataka? Kataka means a permanent military camp. Skandavara means a temporary military camp. So, where the permanent military camp will be established, usually in the places of greater prominence like headquarters or capitals. So, Dhanyakataka definitely served as capitals of some of the kingdoms. Which kingdom? It served as a later capital for Satavahana kingdom. What is the importance of this Satavahana kingdom? It was the first dynasty that culturally and politically unified entire Andhra Desha. See, this region, Andhra, here in this question, it means that it is Andhra Desha. What is this Andhra Desha? Andhra Desha is a region that includes today's Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, parts of Tamil Nadu, Karnataka and Maharashtra. So big region. It is focused in the Deccan Plateau, and this Satavahana family was the earliest family that culturally and politically unified entire region. And it's one of the capitals, means its later capital. Earlier it was Pratisthanapur in Paitan. Pratisthanapur, which is identified as Paitan region in Aurangabad in today's Maharashtra. Later it was shifted to Dhanyakataka, which is identified as present-day Amravati in Andhra Pradesh. And Kataka means a permanent military camp. What are the two terminologies that we have discussed in Satavahana administration? Kataka and Skandavara. Kataka means a permanent military camp and Skandavara means a temporary military camp. So Dhanyakataka was a permanent military camp and it was one of the capitals of Satavahana kingdom. And yes, look at the options once. Andhra. This Andhra here, it means Andhra Desha. Just now I have told you what is Andhra Desha. What is this Gandhara? Gandhara is situated in the northwestern part of Indian subcontinent. It is spread across today's Pakistan and Afghanistan. They were also part of Indian subcontinent. And you have one Mahajanapada also named after this region. And where is this Kalinga? Kalinga is in Odisha, and it also covers the parts of north coastal Andhra. And coming to Magadha, Magadha is centered in present day Bihar, in and around Patna, that is Pataliputra. So these are the geographical locations. And coming back to the question, Dhanya Kataka, I have told you, yes, it was a prominent Buddhist center under Mahasanghikas. What is this terminology Mahasangika again? Again, going back to the topic Buddhism, you might have studied about 4 Buddhist councils. In those 4 Buddhist councils, there was what was the outcome of this second Buddhist council? The outcome of second Buddhist council is that 2 ideologies have developed in Buddhist philosophy. 2 ideologies. One ideology's name was Mahasangika and another ideology's name was Sthaviravada. These Mahasanghikas were pro-changes and Sthaviravadas are anti-changes. Why to bring changes in this Buddhist philosophy? See, there were many shortcomings in the Hindu society at that point of time. In later Vedic period, you might have studied about the social evil, social discrimination. So, to challenge those shortcomings and to make this Buddhist philosophy, they wanted to attract more and more people who are suffering in this Hindu society. So, how to attract them? By bringing changes in the Buddhist philosophy? By not bringing changes in the Buddhist philosophy. So, Mahasanghikas and Sthaviravadas are 2 ideologies that have developed in the second Buddhist council. These Mahasanghikas are pro-changes and Sthaviravadas are anti-changes. These people, they wanted changes to happen in Buddhist philosophy. Yes, logically speaking, in this region, in this Andhra Desha only in a later period, a new sect has developed, that is Mahayana Buddhism. See, these Mahasanghikas and Sthaviravadas are considered as earliest forms of Mahayana and Hinayana schools, earliest forms. So this Mahayana Buddhism, it has taken its birth here in Andhra Desha. The particular place is Nagarjuna Konda, where Acharya Nagarjuna used to live, and he was contemporary to the Shatavahana ruler Yagnashri Shatakarni. So yes, too many facts we have discussed in this part. So here the right answer is option A, Andhra. Moving on to the next question. With reference to ancient India, consider the following statements. Yes. Statement 1, it is saying, the concept of stupa is Buddhist in origin. Understand the statements properly without any issues. Stupa, second statement, stupa was generally a repository of relics. Third statement, stupa was a votive and commemorative structure in Buddhist tradition. How many of the statements above are correct? Let us go back to the statements once again. Let us start our discussion with the first statement. It is saying that the concept of stupa, the statement is related to concept of stupa, understand it properly. It is not related to Buddhist stupa in particular. In general, the concept of stupa. It is definitely not related to Buddhist philosophy, means its origin is definitely not related to Buddhist philosophy. It existed earlier also. Stupas are some structures which are semicircular in shape, where dead bodies were buried under those stupas, and these stupas existed since Vedic times. So its origin cannot be traced back to Buddhist philosophy alone. They existed earlier also. What are these Buddhist stupas? Buddhist stupas are the monuments that were built out of mud and bricks initially, and they were constructed on the mortal remains of, initially on the mortal remains of Buddha, later on the mortal remains of, hundreds and thousands of Buddhist monks in Indian subcontinent. And yeah, these, when you take stupas in India, particularly Buddhist stupas, Ashoka, according to the Buddhist literature, it is believed that Ashoka built almost like 84,000 stupas in entire Indian subcontinent. And you know what? Which is the largest stupa in all these 84,000 Buddhist stupas? Kesaria stupa in Bihar is considered as the largest and tallest stupa in entire world, and it is also believed that its construction has started during Ashoka's period. Yes, come back to this topic. So the first statement is saying the concept of stupa is Buddhist in origin. No, it existed even in Vedic times. In general, Buddhist stupas are different concept. it is a different concept, and we need to elaborately discuss about Buddhist architecture and Buddhist monuments. Then you will come to an understanding. Yes, stupas. The second statement, stupa was generally a repository of relics. Yes, undoubtedly. Coming to the third statement, stupa was votive. What do you mean by votive? A place where people take some vow. Okay, stupa was votive and commemorative structure in Buddhist tradition. Yes, definitely. So here the statements 2 and 3 are only right here. So the right answer here is option B. Only 2 statements above given are correct. I hope it is very clear. Now let us move on to the next question, third question. With reference to ancient South India, Korkai, Pumbuhar, Muchiri were well known as, look at the options first, capital cities, ports, centers of iron and steel making, shrines of Jain Tirthankaras. Let me tell you one point. In the ancient period, particularly in the post-Mauryan period, the peninsular tip means, let me show you once, the peninsular tip, this peninsular India, this peninsular tip, this was under the control of Tamil kingdoms. What were the 3 Tamil kingdoms? Here in the north, Tamil Nadu, south Tamil Nadu, and in the parts of Tamil Nadu and Kerala. Totally 3 Tamil kingdoms have ruled this peninsular tip. This part was under the control of Cholas. This part was under the control of Pandyas. And friends, this part was under the control of Cheras. Okay, now going back to that question, Korkai, Pumpuhar and Muchiri. These are the names of the ports. Okay, please make a note of it if you are writing any notes. Coming to Korkai, it was part of the Pandyan kingdom. It was the port of Pandyan kingdom. Coming to Pumpuhar, it was part of Chola kingdom. It was a port of Cholas. And coming to Muchiri, it is identified as present day Muziris, and it was part of the Chera kingdom. So here the answer is port areas. Yeah, option B is right answer here. Moving on to the next question. Which one of the following explains the practice of Vatakirutal, which is mentioned in Sangam poems? See, again we are getting a question from this Sangam H. And yes, in my classes, I always request the students to focus more on the terminologies and to find more and more terminologies after learning the fundamentals in the class. See, we are getting more and more topics from the terminologies also, more and more questions. Which one of the following explains the practice of Vatakirutal as mentioned in Sangam poems? What is this practice, Vatakirutal? It is a tradition and it was widespread during Sangam age. Once again I am repeating, it is a Tamil tradition which was widespread during Sangam age. And what is this all about? It is a self-sacrifice ritual of a ruler in order to save his prestige and honor. And what is the process of self-sacrifice? Starving out of hunger in general. But there are few particular cases in Sangam literature itself where the kings used to cut their throat using the swords also. Some cases, you need not go in depth and do again research on those topics, but listen to this. So in general, how the kings used to self-sacrifice their lives? By starving to death. And they do that in northern direction. They turn to north and do that. Be it in any form. Let them cut their throats, let them starve out of their hunger. Everything is done in the northern direction. So here the right answer is option D. A king defeated in a battle committing ritual suicide by starving himself to death. So right answer here is option D. So we are done with 4 questions. I hope there are no doubts and I hope you are learning more and more facts out of this session. These will be definitely helpful for your upcoming exams. Once again, I am telling you, please watch more and more videos of Ignite IAS Academy. You will be learning all these kinds of facts related to other subjects also. Question number 5. Consider the following dynasties: Hoysala, Gahadwala, Kakatiya, Yadava kingdoms. How many of the above dynasties established their kingdoms in early 8th century AD? See, in Indian history, you will be coming across several number of dynasties, and it is a Himalayan task to remember the time periods of their rule in particular related to all the dynasties. It is a very difficult task. Leave that up. How to logically remember? See, look at these kingdoms: Hoysala, Kakatiya, Yadava. There is another kingdom. Called Pandya kingdom. So, listen to this very carefully. These four kingdoms, Hoysala, Kakatiya, Yadava, Pandya kingdoms, we study about them in medieval Indian history. Listen to this very carefully. You will come to know what is the time period logically. And what about this Gahedwala kingdom? It is a Rajput kingdom. It is also related to the medieval history. So all these topics we study in medieval history. What are the time periods of ancient, medieval and modern periods? Logically speaking, very briefly. Ancient period exists from earliest known period to mankind, whatever it is. It is written in, it given different numbers related to this in different reference materials. But logically speaking, earliest known period known to the mankind up to 8th century AD is ancient period in India. And from 8th to 18th century AD is medieval India, 1000 years. In this 1000 years, the first 500 years, political history was dominated by Hindu kingdoms. Another 500 years, the political history was dominated by the Muslim kingdoms. Leave that topic also. And in this, see, what I am saying, medieval history was from 8th to 1000 AD. And all these kingdoms, whatever you are seeing on the big screen, Hoysala, Gahedwala, Kakatiya and Yadava, and even Pandya kingdoms, these became independent kingdoms only after 8th century AD, not before 8th century AD. This is how you can easily, logically remember the time periods, because it is a difficult task to remember time periods of each and every kingdom or each and every ruler or each and every battle. Don't do that. Logically, do some smart work here. So, yes, coming back to this topic. So, what is the right answer here? Option D, none. How many of the above dynasties established their kingdoms in early 8th century? Just now I have told you all these kingdoms became independent after 8th century AD. And coming to one more fact here I would like to discuss is, this is very important fact for your understanding: Hoysala, Kakatiya, Yadava and Pandya. Okay, we'll discuss about Gahedwala also. Hoysala, Kakatiya, Pandya, Yadava. Yes. Coming to these four kingdoms, one thing I would like to tell you here, these four kingdoms declared their independence during the period of Delhi Sultanate. Yes, these kingdoms, they became independent kingdoms. Look at this very clearly. Hoysala, coming to Hoysala and Pandya kingdoms, they have declared their independence from Cholas. After the downfall of Cholas, they declared their independence, and Kakatiyas and Yadava kingdoms, they declared their independence from Kalyani Chalukyas. So, what you are understanding here, Kalyani Chalukyas and Cholas, yes, contemporary kingdoms they were. Yes, coming back to the topic. Hoysala, Pandya have declared their independence from Cholas. Kakatiya and Yadava have declared their independence from Kalyani Chalukyas. And these four regional kingdoms gave resistance to the Delhi Sultanate. Alauddin Khalji was the first Muslim ruler who invaded these kingdoms and made them as their subordinate kingdoms. And that southern expedition was carried by Malik Kafur. Of course, Kakatiya kingdom has given very huge resistance when compared to all the south kingdoms. And yes, coming to the next, what was there in the option? Gahedwala. This is also a very important Rajput kingdom. It succeeded the Gurjara Pratihara dynasty. You might have studied about Gurjara Pratihara dynasty. It is considered as earliest known Rajput kingdom in Indian history. And those Gurjara Pratihara dynasty, their capital was Kannauj. And Kannauj came into the hands of Gahedwala after the downfall of Gurjara Pratihara. Just remember these things when it comes to political history. Now, let us move on to the next question. Sixth question, if I am not wrong. With reference to ancient Indian history, consider the following pairs. Yes. Devi Chandragupta, it is a book. Yes, all these are literary works, and yes, on the other hand, the authors' names are also given. Yeah, let us start our discussion with the first statement. Devi Chandragupta, it was not written by Bilhana, it was written by Visakha Datta. Very, very important author. Do you know the other literary work written by Visakha Datta? It is Mudra Rakshasa. You might have studied that as part of the sources to study Mauryan history. In that Mudra Rakshasa, Visakha Datta discusses the origin of Chandragupta Maurya. Let us not go into that topic. That is another work written by Visakha Datta, since the reference has come. So here the right answer is Devi Chandragupta was written in Sanskrit by Visakha Datta. And what is the content of this book? It deals with the love story and marriage of the ruler Chandragupta II with his own sister-in-law Dhruva Devi. Yes. And coming to the second option, Hammira Mahakavya. Hammira Deva was a ruler from Chauhan dynasty. It is a Rajput kingdom. Once again, I am repeating, Hammira Deva was a ruler of Chauhan kingdom. And the name itself is saying Hammira Mahakavya. It is related to the biography of Hammira Deva. And it was written by, undoubtedly, yes, he was a Jain scholar, this person, Nyaya Chandra Suri. Yes. These Jain scholars, mostly, they'll be possessing this Suri as their, suffix names. Suri in the suffix names. So, yes. Hammira Mahakavya was written by a Jain scholar named Nyaya Chandra Suri, and it was written in Sanskrit. It deals with the biography of Hammira Deva from Chauhan dynasty. Coming to the third statement, Milinda Panha. This is a Buddhist text written in Pali language. Many of you might have studied about this. Milinda here is Menander, the Indo-Greek king, very popular king. And Panha, this is also called as Nagasenu Bhikshu Sutra. In his court, there was a Buddhist monk called Nagasena. Due to his influence, this person, Indo-Greek ruler Menander, he came under his influence and he got attracted and adopted this Buddhist philosophy. And what is this book all about? It is written in Pali language. It was written by Nagasena himself. So here, it is not Nagarjuna. It was written by Nagasena himself. And what is the content of this book? The discussion between Menander and Nagasena is compiled in the form of a text. Means Menander was asking some questions related to Buddhist philosophy, and Nagasena, since he was a bhikshu, he had a good command on the Buddhist philosophy. He was answering everything. And see, it is like a guide to the people who newly take up this Buddhist philosophy. Very important and sacred book, particularly for the Hinayana Buddhists. And coming to the fourth option, Niti Vakyamrita. This was written by Somadeva Suri. Don't get confused with Somadeva, a Shaivite author who had written Kathasarit Sagar, written by Somadeva alone, not Somadeva Suri. That book is also important, one of the important sources to study Gupta history. What is that? Kathasarit Sagar, written by Somadeva. He was a Shaivite scholar, and that book has got conditions that prevailed during Gupta period. Very good source to study Gupta history. Coming back to this Niti Vakyamrita, it is a book written on political science, the statecraft. And it was undoubtedly written by Somadeva Suri. So here only two options are right. So here the right option is option B, only two. I hope you are learning more and more facts. Moving on to the next question, question number 7. This is a very tough question. If you do not know such kind of questions, my sincere suggestion is just leave such kind of questions, because unnecessarily you might land up attracting negative marks if you touch these kind of questions. One or two, maximum 1 or 2 questions like this you can expect in ancient and medieval history, particularly the art and culture. Souls are not only the property of animal and plant life, but also of rocks, running water and many other natural objects not looked on as living by other religious sects. This concept is popularly called as animism. What is it called as animism? And let me tell you, please listen to this very carefully. You have references of this animism in Buddhist philosophy, Jain philosophy, Hindu philosophy, and Sikh philosophy. but strictly followed in Jain philosophy. So here the right answer happens to be option B. You have references in one part of Buddhist philosophy, means some part of the Buddhists believe that, some part of Hindus believe that, some part of the Sikhs believe, not entirely. But Jains, all the Jains are considered to be animists. Very, very important point it is. So here the right answer is option B. Let us move on to the next question, friends. Question number 8. Who among the following rulers of Vijayanagara Empire constructed a large dam across Tungabhadra river and a canal several kilometers long from the river to the capital city? It was undoubtedly Devaraya I. He belongs to Sangama dynasty, the dynasty that has started Vijayanagara rule here in the south. 4 families have ruled this Vijayanagara empire: Sangama, Saluva, Tuluva, Aravidu. He comes from the first dynasty that has ruled the Vijayanagara kingdom, and he had conflict with Bahaman ruler. The Bahamanis have ruled from Deccan, Vijayanagara has ruled from the south. Both had conflict. The conflict was about to capture the Tungabhadra Doab. You know what is Doab? A region where this Tungabhadra river was flowing. They wanted to gain command on that region. The conflict has started like that, and he had conflict with Firoz Shah Bahman. 2 battles were fought with Firoz Shah Bahman. Devaraya I fought 2 battles with Firoz Shah Bahman. Next question. With reference to the Indian history, Alexander Ria, A.H. Longeras, Robert Sewell, James Burgess, and Walter Elliot were associated with archaeological excavations, establishment of English press in colonial India, establishment of churches in princely states, construction of railways in colonial India. Which is the right answer, friends? This is a tough question. It is completely factual. We need to have an idea about all these names. These people are all archaeologists, and they were very much involved in the archaeological excavations, particularly in Andhra Desha. And what were those places? Amravati, a Buddhist center; Battiprolu, another Buddhist center; Ghantasala, another Buddhist center. So these people, they involve themselves in these archaeological excavations in these regions. Okay, so here the right answer is archaeological excavations, option A. Moving on to the next question, friends. Consider the following pairs. Besanagar, Shaivite cave shrine. See, this Besanagar, you get a reference of this place in topic called Shungas. There in Shunga dynasty, there was a ruler named Bhagabhadra. You might have studied about him. Bhagabhadra. And a contemporary Indo-Greek ruler was there. His name was Antalcidas. His name was Antalcidas, and the Shunga ruler's name was Bhagabhadra. Both were contemporary rulers. So this person, Antalcidas, he sent his ambassador to his court. His name was Heliodorus. What was his name? His name was Heliodorus. A Greek ambassador has visited the court of Shunga dynasty ruler Bhagabhadra. His name was Heliodorus. And this person, when he visited this kingdom, when he visited this Indian subcontinent, he got very much attracted towards Bhagavata philosophy. What is this Bhagavata philosophy? It is a philosophy that focuses on worshipping to Krishna and his relatives, whose origin was Madura in Uttar Pradesh. They have permanently migrated and settled in Dwaraka. They belong to Yadu tribe. And worshipping to Krishna and his relatives is all about Bhagavata philosophy. It promotes bhakti through devotional songs. So, not only Indians, many foreigners from Kashmir to Kanyakumari, they very much got attracted towards this attractive Bhagavata philosophy, just like Heliodorus. So, this person, after getting attracted towards this Bhagavata philosophy, he issued this Besanagar inscription. It is a place in Madhya Pradesh. And this Besanagar inscription was issued in Prakrit language. And what is the content? What is important related to this Bhagavata philosophy found in this Besanagar inscription, which was issued by Heliodorus in Prakrit language? In this, Heliodorus is praising Lord Krishna as Devadeva, the god of the gods. And he is claiming himself as Parama Bhagavata, means he is greatest follower of Lord Krishna or Bhagavata philosophy. So that is the content. So this is a wrong one. Bhaja Buddhist caves. They are all Buddhist caves. They are located in Lonavala of Maharashtra. They can be traced back to 2nd century BC. Rock cut caves they are. The second option is right. Sitranavasal caves. These are the caves that were inhabited by Jain monks, and they can be traced back to Pallava period. But remember one fact, this is a very important fact. You find mural paintings on the ceilings of these caves, which can be traced back to Pandya period. So the paintings were under the patronage of Pandyas, and the caves can be traced back to Pallava period. Don't get confused. So Pallavas have patronized these paintings, and what kind of paintings they were? They were all mural paintings. What are these mural paintings? They were undetachable. They are undetachable paintings, and second best mural paintings after Ajanta cave paintings in Indian history. Please remember this point. And so here the right answer is option B. Only 2 of the above statements are correct. Next question. Yes. Consider the following statements. Statement 1. Yes, this is related to modern Indian history, friends. 7th August is declared as National Handloom Day. National days also, important national days also, you need to focus. They will be interlinked with the polity. They will be interlinked with economy, history. Tricky questions will be asked like this. So the second statement, it is saying that it was in 1905 that Swadeshi movement was launched on the same day. Yes, on 7th August of 1905, Swadeshi movement was launched in India. It is the first mass movement that was launched in Indian national movement. First mass movement. And it was against to the decision taken by the Britishers to partition Bengal into East Bengal and West Bengal. It was done during the period of Viceroy Lord Curzon's period. And it was led by 3 leaders particularly, Lal Bal Pal, Lala Lajpat Rai, Balagangadhar Tilak and Bipin Chandra Pal. And there were many other leaders also, but these people were 3 heroes who carried this Swadeshi movement. And this movement is popularly also called as Vande Mataram movement. Bankim Chandra Chatterjee had written this Vande Mataram, which is presently our national song. It became the slogan of this movement. And this movement was launched, once again I am telling you, this movement was launched against to the decision taken by the Britishers to partition Bengal. Bengal was already partitioned at that point of time. Nobody could stop that. So it was against to that decision taken, and it was against to the partition of Bengal. And many programs were conducted as part of this Swadeshi movement. One program was to boycott British goods. One program was to boycott their institutions. One program to, motivate and attract more and more youth in this Indian national movement. So many youth associations were established all throughout Indian subcontinent, and conducting cultural festivals to enhance the cultural bonding and emotional bonding among the public, so that their bonding will become strong and unity will become strong, and they'll participate in the Indian national movement, like conducting this particularly Shivaji festival, Ganesh Chaturthi. They were started as these cultural festivals were started by Balagangadhar Tilak particularly, and to motivate the youth, many gyms, akhadas and Hanuman Vyayamshalas were also started. And these people, this Swadeshi movement was carried by the leaders who had extremist ideology. So it comes under the extremist phase. So these people they always believed in the principles of self-sacrifice, self-respect, self-reliance and self-confidence. They offered passive resistance also, means willfully breaking the laws and getting imprisoned. Extremist ideology it is. And the most important fact related to this Swadeshi movement is on 16th October, Rabindranath Tagore gave a call to, celebrate Raksha Bandhan Day in order to bring pressure on the Britishers. Why this Bengal was partitioned into East Bengal and West Bengal? To separate Hindus and Muslims, to break that Hindu-Muslim unity, to implement that divide and rule policy. It was a step taken by the Britishers. So Rabindranath Tagore had given this call in order to bring moral pressure on the Britishers and show to them that Hindus and Muslims are bhai, the brothers. So Raksha Bandhan Day was celebrated all throughout Bengal and some parts of Indian subcontinent, where you can see Hindus and Muslims on the streets tying Rakhis to each other. So these are the important facts related to Swadeshi movement. Yes, coming back to the options, option A, both statement 1 and 2 are correct, and statement 2 is the correct explanation for statement 1. Yes, this is undoubtedly the right answer. Option A is the right answer. National Handloom Day is celebrated to commemorate this Swadeshi movement, the first mass movement in Indian national movement. So this is all about the discussion, friends. I hope you have enjoyed this session and learned many facts. Please watch more videos on Ignite IAS channel for the upcoming exams, particularly all the subjects. Once again, I'm telling you, will be taught comprehensively like this. Okay, I wish you all very good success in your career. Thank you so much. See you. Bye-bye.